You already know that control flow chooses paths. What most developers don't realize is that once a path finishes, it stops explaining anything. At runtime, your program doesn't remember why a value exists. It only sees that it exists. This video is about proving that, using failures that look reasonable, pass review, and still break systems years later. This looks harmless, and it is, until you misunderstand what's happening. When the CPU hits the if, it doesn't evaluate possibilities. It doesn't keep both branches in mind. It chooses one path and walks with it. Either the assignment happens, or it doesn't. There is no memory of the branch that wasn't taken. There is no conceptual merge. There's only what ran. Once the CPU hits the if block, the path is finished. The CPU does not carry a mental note that says, hey, remember, this was conditional. That information is gone. Control flow structures don't persist. They don't annotate memory. They don't tag values with intent. They only decide whether a line runs or not. This line doesn't care how access level got its value. It doesn't know about conditionals. It doesn't know about intent. It only sees the current state. If the assignment ran, the value is 10. If it didn't, the value is still 0. And nothing about the program remembers why. This is the rule most developers miss. Control flow explains how a value was created. Execution only sees the value that exists. This is where things start to rot. Developers read this like a story. If admin, do this. If temporary, do that. But the CPU reads it as run line 1 if true, then run line 2 if true. These are not branches of a single decision. They are independent mutations of shared state. Nothing resets. Nothing reconciles intent. The last write wins. This is why flags feel fine, until they don't. By the time this line runs, the design is already finished. There is no conditional anymore. There is no branching logic. There is only a value, produced by whatever path executed. This is the shift most developers never make. Design isn't what you intend the code to do. Design is the execution paths that actually run. If a path can execute, it's part of your design. If a value can survive, it shapes behavior downstream. That's why control flow is the program, not in theory, but at runtime. In small examples, this feels manageable, but scales this pattern across loops, flags, retries, feature toggles, and you get systems where behavior depends on execution history instead of design. In the next video, I'll show you how this exact rule breaks real systems, and how to design control flow that doesn't lie to you as your code base grows.